Peace, 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 peace. Peace, love, and light to all the American Aborigines. This is your brother, Aboriginal Power. Hopefully, everybody's having a blissful day, a blissful grand rising. And hopefully, you guys, enjoy your day today. But before you get into your day, if you haven't already, this is the Wake and Bake Show. We're going to get into some information. So make sure you hit the like button, thumb up the video, and support this on all your social media outlets.
Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
Blazing on the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled, highway ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hollering black was never on your side. They too left to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man's zone. And I ain't talking shit, this my definition. If being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens, instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. We the guard to the gate, so when they say they fear God, now
then we know what they mean.
Shoot song,
move
song, shoot song, move song.
Put us in the same room, it gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down.
Shoot song, move song, shoot song, move song.
Put us in the same room, it gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down.
Every day my niggas dying, they don't know the truth. How the hell you close to God, we don't know it's you. Yo, how the hell you supposed to survive, we don't know the shoot. He should've died, you let him slide, cause he look just like you. I tried to tell him all skin ain't kin. Everybody ain't your partner, everybody ain't your friend. How the hell they supposed to help when they the ones that put you in? They don't struggle how we struggle, they can't get it how we live. Can't be scared to die when we already dead. Either way, your life is stake no matter how you play it. My higher self said we should choose remain godly. My lower want these motherfucking bodies. Infiltrate they circles like a motherfucking Audi. Take them to the south and put them down like OG Bobby. They don't want equality in this club, they want these problems. Killers right beside me, stand full of chicken mockers. Shoot song, move song, shoot song, move song.
Put us in the same room, it gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down.
Shoot song, move song, shoot song, move song.
Put us in the same room, it gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down.
Hey, hit that like button as you come in. Peace and love. Peace and blessings to all the American Aborigines. If y'all can hear me, drop some fire emojis. Let's go.
Yeah, rhyme so dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, let go of them townhomes. What's a native to a native? Eat $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation. God's children, give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling? He say put no one before him in divine image. It's you with God and Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turned on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned to nothing. And now we nothing's turned to something. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven. This the message to the black man. 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 Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof. This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. You wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. You stop wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? I find it hard to trust the pastor who rather side with the master, who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured. About how we should wait on God is never our vernacular. They get paid and praised by the dollar long as they keeping us stagnant. And niggas think they woke, huh? Like you could change a whole world through a vote, huh? Like slave masters willing to let they slave go, huh? That slave master was probably your kinfolk, huh? History in reverse, a black king strategy. When blacks were your majesty, they always hide your pyramids but point to where the castles be. Aristocracies with your last name patent accurately. Yeah. And I ain't even tell half the shit. Like, I ain't even tell a quarter of the shit. I'm just getting started. Y'all niggas rap about busting guns and all this weird shit. I'm trying to get my people back, nigga.
Shout out to my brother Trey Ali, man. If y'all ain't following Trey Ali on YouTube, go type in Trey Ali. Go check out some of that fire music. Definitely holding it down when it comes to this Aboriginal wave of hip hop. Shout out to my brother. Peace and love to everybody in the chat, man. How y'all doing this morning? Grand Rising. Got a nice show for you guys. You understand me? How y'all feeling, man? You know, let me get my coffee in. Probably step outside in a minute. It's beautiful, sun shining. Step out there, give me a little sunlight while I do this build with you guys. So yeah, before we get into it, I just want to have a conversation with you guys first. Just, you know, see what's going on. Check in bases with the family, the cousins. What's going on, cousins? Off in the chat. Y'all good? Everybody good? Everybody good? Hey, if y'all ain't subscribed to the new channel, man, we dealing with it's a new channel that I'm constantly reiterating of trying to upgrade. It's a new channel we're trying to promote. It strictly deals with battle rap. So if y'all want to be involved into the battle rap culture, if y'all want to be participants in this particular battle rap league, then y'all make sure y'all go into your YouTube, type in the Battle Rap Wizards, subscribe to the channel, man. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can get all the latest contents. We did do a live stream on there last night. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, popping over there, checking it out. Drinking celery juice. That doesn't sound too appetizing this morning. I pass. I'm good. I'm going to do the coffee. Cheers. What do they say? Cheers. I ain't snacking on nothing. I'm drinking this hot-ass coffee, and it's hot as hell. It's hot as hell, G. I ain't eating on nothing. It's quite hot, though. Yeah, I'm going to pass on the celery juice. I'm good. Make sure y'all get y'all some, man. Y'all trying to get healthy. Get y'all some motherfucking celery juice. Throw a little orange in there, a little banana. Might knock off the flavor a little bit for you. But peace and blessings. I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. Let's get straight into the audio. I'm good on the CD brews. I'm good, G. Let's get it cracking, man. Hit that like button. We're going to get straight into it.
Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
And welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know who I am. You know what I'm here to do. I'm here to
There we go. Joining me as always, my partner in crime, Xavier Guerrero. How are you, Xavier?
Good. It's a great day today.
Great day to be alive. And on the ones and twos, my man, Johnny Woodard. Johnny, local celebrity. How are you?
How's it going, man? I'm okay. I'm okay.
Johnny, you just bring that heat, man. It's that heat that's making you a podcast.
Yeah.
Legend, dude. Everybody's talking about. If you want to hear more from Johnny Nice, check out a podcast that will come out someday eventually called Broken Simulation. Yep. It also has a nice Patreon if you want to go check that out. That's Broken Simulation on Patreon. And then XG has a wonderful podcast where you get to know about the Latino culture and its love of dance. Go check out George Perez Stories. That's just deep into the Cholo way of life, everybody. It's a lot of fun. Guys, as you know, my shows, some of my tour dates have been canceled. I, though, have a couple television appearances that will be coming up if you want to check them out. September 24th, which is tomorrow. Okay, this comes out today. Yeah, September 24th, Thursday. I will be on a CW. It's called Refresh Mysteries Decoded. Okay, we go deep into the Montauk Project once again to check out what goes on. I did an interview with another employee there, and then we discussed this freakish video we saw in Turkey that's on the CW at 8 p.m. And then I will be part of the Showtime's The Comedy Store docuseries that starts October 4th. And that's there to go. Guys, if you want to support the show, there's a couple Patreons that are going on. First of all, the Patreon is the first one is patreon.com/tinfoilhat. Okay. That's the daily doses. I do about 3 episodes on there a week. So give you your heavy hit it and quit it. Some interesting stuff is coming out in the world of conspiracies. You get your daily dose on that. And then my show with Brian Callen, which is called The Conspiracy Social Club. We argue, and Brian takes giant L's, okay? I am winning all.
Hey, let's be real. Don't nobody give a fuck about no cholos. Don't nobody give a fuck about no cholos, G. Fuck is a Mexican?
The time. I have a spiritual podcast. Anyway. It's called Zero. Here's conspiracy tinfoil hats where you come to learn about what's going on in the world, and Zero is where you go to learn how to deal with it. That's available on Rockfin. That's ROKFIN.com/0. So that's it, dude. Real quick, how are the cups going, XG? Are people enjoying the new coffee mugs you can get?
Hey, man, peace and love to everybody in the chat, man. Hopefully I enjoy this. I ain't going to try to keep stopping as much as possible. But, hey, thumb up the video. Thumb up the video. If y'all hear any background noise, because I'm outside and I don't have my mic unmuted. So I'll be able to talk to you guys throughout the build without fucking up the screen. You know what I'm saying? So if you're hearing birds chirping, because I'm outside on my deck, lighting up this fat-ass wood, drinking my coffee, enjoying my space. Peace and love, you guys. Let's get it.
Oh, yeah, they're rocking. We got coffee mugs. We got socks. We got pillows. You can lay down on right next to Sam. What more do you need
perfect. In life? So if you want that, go to tinfoilhatswag.com. That's tinfoilhatswag.com. Now, also, if you want to buy T-shirts, support the show, I'm wearing one. XG's wearing one. Just go to Tinfoil Hat T-shirts. Please welcome there from the movie. All right. So let's get into it. We're very excited. You guys, as you guys know, we just did a big Tartaria episode. We learned a lot that mountains are melted buildings, and it was a fun episode. And I'm excited. And then after the episode dropped, I had some gentlemen hit me up and say that they could go even deeper on the subject, which I'm super excited about. So to follow up. Or revisit to Tartaria. Please welcome there from the movie, the TV series, The Phantom Age. Please welcome James and Scott, everybody. How are you guys?
Hey, Scott. Hey, Sam. Thanks for having us on, man. We're big fans, and we're so happy to be here to talk about Tartaria. So Scott and I are producers here in LA, and we've been trying for about a year and a half to get a Tartaria-based series on air. And for those who don't know what Tartaria is, it's this giant conspiracy about a big empire that was sort of a big influence in the recent historical events that sort of vanished and sort of written out of history. It's a huge subject, and we've been going deep on it for a year and a half. And we've been pitching it to networks, and we've got a lot of interest. Let's say we got to third base with some big networks. But what we think happens is they sort of take it, they do their own research on it, and it's too bonkers for them, man. They can't handle it.
Well, you came to the right place for bonkers, because the more bonkers, the better. This is the land of the milk and bonkers. This is for sure. And so real quick, so tell us real quick, your project's called The Phantom Age, and basically what you do is a deep dive on Tartaria. Is that what you're telling me?
Not only Tartaria, but the fact that our whole historical timeline was fabricated to write Tartaria out. So what a lot of
how wouldn't anybody take that? Like, that's all you need to do to sell me on the show. It's like, yeah, dude, I run BET, and I would love for you to be on BET telling us about how all of history has been rewritten.
Everything before the 1500s has been fabricated and almost pretty much didn't happen. Basically, what we're saying, and this is not our thing. This is a total prestigious Russian mathematician who's written textbooks. He's a full member of the Academy of Sciences in Russia. He's a professor at Moscow State University. His name's Anatoly Fomenko, and he spent his life going through documents, and he proved undeniably that all of our ancient history, whether it's ancient Greece, whether it's the birth of Jesus, whether it's Rome, it's all based on events that happened in the Middle Ages, and it was artificially extended in the 1500s by Jesuit monks under the Holy Roman Empire.
Okay, you got
undeniably that all of our ancient history, whether it's ancient Greece, whether it's the birth of Jesus, whether it's Rome, it's all based on events that happened in the Middle Ages. And it was artificially extended in the 1500s by Jesuit monks under the Holy Roman Empire.
okay. You got Jesuits. You're hitting all my boxes. He's mentioned Jesus. That's all of it. So, okay. So let's start in this thing. And listen, I'm all about this action. So you're telling me that anything that happened before the 1500s that we have learned in history is not real.
Yeah. So basically, there's no original documents that precede 900 AD. So everything from 900 AD and back, there are no actual original manuscripts or documents. Everything we know about ancient Greece, ancient Rome, BC, Egypt is written in the Middle Ages, and basically takes events that happened in the Middle Ages and essentially duplicates those events and pushes them back into time. So you create an 1100-year gap of time, and you fill it in with stories from the Middle Ages with different names, different regions, different geography. And you have to remember at the time, the monks and the Jesuit order, they controlled information, man. No one other than the kings, royalty, the priest class, they're the ones who got it. They wrote their own history. The average layman couldn't even speak, you know, it wasn't like there was a newspaper and you could go read the newspaper. All the information you learned about your history was given to you by the church. And so that's where we started digging into like our original history, and we found this guy, Joseph Scaliger, who was a French Jesuit monk who basically in the 1500s created what we know as 0 AD, the birth of Christ. And 33 to 36 years later, he's crucified, right? And that sets the timeline that we still to this day follow. So everyone looks at 0 and then goes back. But in reality, this Fomenko, this scientist that who's written 7 volumes of this, and he spent 20 years of his life, he basically proved through the use of astronomy and astronomical forensics that Jesus, for example, was born in 1152 AD, according to the star Bethlehem, where it was in the sky at the time. He could reverse engineer now with an algorithm and with, software that he developed to actually look at the lunar eclipses, the solar eclipses, all the things that were recorded in ancient books. He could cross-reference with an actual We know where the moon is going to be. Exactly. Today we know when a lunar event's going to happen down to the second. And he used that same knowledge today to actually backdate and go back and say, wait a minute, Jesus, there's no 0 AD. It's 1152 is when the Star of Bethlehem was in the sky in this location, indicating the birth of Jesus.
It was the Crab Nebula going supernova, followed by 33 years later by a full eclipse, which the crucifixion was often accompanied by an eclipse in the Gospels. So that 33-year separates happened only at 1152 through 1185.
Yeah.
So how do you interact with human beings, like knowing this kind of knowledge? Because I know little things and it's hard for me to function in society. But when you're saying that there's no history,
try telling somebody the Roman Empire never happened and see how they take it.
Okay, dude, I'm in on this. So are you trying to say that you believe everything started at this time, or the history we know was
the written record that we have to go off of is only 1,000 years old?
Okay, but before that, a whole bunch of stuff happened, and we've been lied to about what happened.
Yeah, Graham Hancock and stuff, and his whole theory about the cycles of civilization. We're totally into that, and we think Tartaria got its origins from a previous cycle of civilization. So we're just talking about this cycle of civilization rising from the cataclysm that whatever knocked the last civilization down.
So no historical event happened more than 1,000 years ago that is on record. That's
on record. As far as the buildings, the constructions, it's a whole different story. There's lots of weird stuff out there that's probably way older.
How about the burning? How about the burning of the Library of Alexandria? Because the Romans burned that. Do you think that there was some?
It's a fake story. It's probably based off several things in Eastern Europe. Like a lot of stuff was taken from the schism of Tartaria and sort of the Holy Roman Empire, and it was moved all over the world later. So there probably wasn't a library in Alexandria.
I'm not against what you guys are saying. I'm totally down with it. Like I said, when I said go weird, you guys definitely hit it out of the park on that. But here's my whole thing: is like, because like say Buddhism, right, and stuff like that, they supposedly have this long history. You're saying none of that's real as well?
Jesuits, man. The Jesuits, they were in China, they were in India. They totally fucked the history. The Great Wall of China is not 2,000 years old. It was built in the 1500s, and it was built by the Tartars as a border between what was then China and Tartaria. It's not that old.
Yeah.
And dude, everything we know about ancient China, Marco Polo did not go to China. That story's all bullshit. He went to he was in this Tartarian region of northern Russia.
Okay, so let's get into this. Pompeii was buried by Mount Vesuvius in the 1600s. Okay, so you say there's no Roman Empire, and I'm loving this.
Pompeii is the best example of Roman Empire, isn't it? Is it not? It's the best. A lot of it was lost in the Dark Ages, according to official history. And Pompeii, the best preserved Roman city in the world, right? Yeah. You got the Roman frescoes, you got the Roman architecture. How can that not be from the Roman Empire, right? So we'll sit here and we'll prove to you right now that Pompeii buried Mount Vesuvius in 1631, not 79 AD, and it was a medieval Christian city that got buried in there. And we got architecture. How can that not be from the Roman Empire, right?
Pompeii was buried by Mount Vesuvius in the 1600s. Okay, so you say there's no Roman Empire, and I'm loving this.
Pompeii is the best example of Roman Empire, isn't it? Is it not? It's the best. A lot of it was lost in the Dark Ages, according to official history. And Pompeii, the best preserved Roman city in the world, right? Yeah. You got the Roman frescoes, you got the Roman architecture. How can that not be from the Roman Empire, right? So we'll sit here and we'll prove to you right now that Pompeii buried Mount Vesuvius in 1631, not 79 AD, and it was.
My bad, y'all. Yeah, I was saying something. Appreciate that. Who just said that? Mike. Appreciate that, Mike. Matter of fact, that's what a good moderator do. Shout out to Mike. Oh yeah, I actually was saying something when I paused. I thought my mic was unmuted, but I want y'all to listen to what he's saying though. You see what I'm saying? If Pompeii didn't exist, this is the same shit I've been breaking down. We've been watching the same videos. Obviously, the flamenco guy who's there with the phantom timeline, all this shit, he breaks down how Pompeii and all these other Roman civilizations and cultures did not exist when they said it did.
1631. Not
Hit the like button, you guys. Hit the like button.
79 AD, and it was a medieval Christian city that got.
I haven't said it too much, but we got 117 in the chat. We only got 60 something likes. Can we get the likes up, family?
Buried in there, and we got some visuals here. In the Matrix, Morpheus says you can't be told what the Matrix is; you have to see it for yourself. So we got some images here that
real quick before we get in that, because I want to see this. I want to see this. How did you?
Hey, mind y'all, this video, y'all look at it, episode 371. Hey, this video is fairly new. This video is like less than a month old. Y'all go back, I did something like this less than 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Did a whole build on this shit.
You two come together to discuss this? Do you guys work on other projects? You're like, we produced the Puppy Bowl during the Super Bowl, and then somehow a friend of ours,
pretty much, talking by the water cooler and stuff,
was just like, hey, dude, great Puppy Bowl today. I hope the spot ones. Anyways, history's fake. Anyways, I'll see you guys back on the field. Is that kind of how that went?
Yeah, basically, James and I have been working editors and producers on various shows. History Channel stuff. For example, I worked on UFO Hunters for History Channel, so I was exposed quite a while ago to just alternate theories, the whole idea
of my background noise is too loud. I'm sorry about that,
it
but
was
my mic is
fascinating to
unmuted
me.
and I'm sitting outside.
But when James came to me and said, "Hey, have you heard of this guy Flamenco, this Russian mathematician who's a legit dude, a published guy? I mean, a really respected scientist." And he's published this 7-volume series of books that basically debunks our entire history and our narrative. And I'm like, no. And then I started getting into it, and I realized, holy shit, this is something that makes Ancient Aliens.
It's crazier than Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, it's way crazier because the Ancient Aliens premise is very lighthearted and it's kind of fun, and people can kind of make light of it, and it's not that serious, and it doesn't have, but when we start talking about an actual.
Yeah, we outside, y'all. Sitting outside on the deck, up under the gazebo. I'm actually up under the table with the umbrella on the outside on the deck right now. And yeah, man, you hear nature out here. You hear the birds, fucking cars ride by, fucking whoever. So try to block out the background noise. Hopefully it's loud enough for you guys. Y'all can still hear it loud and clear. I got an echo. You said I got an echo, you guys? Oh yeah.
Orchestrated hoax of the most epic level, taken by the Holy Roman Church, and you start looking at the documents, and you start looking at all the astronomical data.
Yeah, I know why I got an echo. Hold on. Let me go to audio. Echo. Boom. Tell me if I still got an echo now. Do I still got an echo?
Data, and you go, wait a minute, this is crazy. We've been this entire empire that was worldwide has been completely memory hold from.
So I still got an echo? Echo gone? That's what I thought. My bad.
From our current day knowledge, so you start questioning everything about history.
Yeah, Sam, there was a certain point where I was just trying to debunk this. It was too crazy, and I was going through to see how it cannot be true, and I've not reached that point yet. It just becomes more true the deeper and deeper you dig into it.
That is unbelievable. Johnny, you're very quiet. You've always been a big Roman Empire guy. It's this shatter your world.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the photos of giant organs in churches. So let's get to that part.
Oh yeah, don't forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. The echo cancellation.
Dude, this is kind of crazy because it changes just everything. It changes everything.
You got a grasp on the Roman Empire, but no, you don't.
So the Roman Empire, the Egyptians, Babylon, Atlantis, all that stuff. None of it's real.
Does it?
Look, he down there cried when he said none of that. She said Atlantis. None of this shit is real. You mean none of it? His ass tweaking.
Does it include dinosaurs? Does it include dinosaurs? Were dinosaurs real, or is that?
Are we think dinosaurs are real? All right, are we in screen share?
I ain't about to play with y'all in the chat today. Talking about I had auto tune down. I don't know what the hell that was. Like I said, I ain't got nobody else on here with me, and I'm not listening to it with under headphones. So I'm like running off of two different devices. You feel me? My bad. Let's keep it going.
Johnny,
No.
are they in screen share?
No.
It is enabled though.
We have enabled. Here we
All
go.
right, how about now? See what we're saying?
Yep.
All right, so
All good.
Pompeii, right? This is the story of Pompeii. Was it 79 AD or was it 1631? So everybody.
You say you wonder why dude never say nothing. He do believe in all that. He's a cholo. He believes that Catholic shit and all that little shit.
Knows the story, right? It was buried during the Roman Empire, and it was lost during the Dark Ages. Nobody even knew about it during the Dark Ages. Then it was discovered in 1748 by Spanish military engineers. And it was like a couple decades later that nobody even knew that it was Pompeii. They actually had to find a plaque in the rubble saying this was Pompeii. And they're like, oh, okay, this place was Pompeii. So that's the official story. And we're gonna rip that to shreds, right? So if Pompeii was lost in the Dark Ages and wasn't discovered until the mid 1700s, then it shouldn't show up anywhere in the record between that time, between the Dark Ages and when it was discovered, right? But that's not what we see, man. We have all these maps of Italy from the 15 and 1600s when Pompeii should have been buried, forgotten. And there you see Pompeii with arrows.
Oh, he got the Otilius 1570 map. I use another Italian map from the 1540s. He's using the Otilius map from 1570. That's dope too. That shows that it even extended even later.
Pointing right where they said, and this is the Otilius map of 1750.
1570.
1570, sorry. Another one from 1575, Pompeii. It's a little tiny city there.
So you're saying at this point, nobody.
This is the map that well, no, this ain't even the map I use. He using one from 1514 that even shows Pompeii on there. That's dope. I'm gonna have to steal some of his sources on these maps, y'all.
He knew Pompeii existed.
Like I said, I freestyled it when I did it, man. I did it last year. It was dope. This is fire though. I ain't gonna keep stopping.
Because it's been
buried and forgotten.
Well, according to like our current chronology, according to what we've been taught in our history books, yes.
Okay, you're saying that these maps came out when this thing was supposed to be gone, so people wouldn't know of this.
Yes.
If Pompeii got destroyed in 79 AD and wasn't found again until 1700s, how the fuck is it still on maps all throughout the 1500s? If it was destroyed and covered up and totally decimated, right? How the fuck is it still on maps in the 1500s if it was destroyed in 79 AD?
Yeah, how did they know about this in the 1500s if it wasn't discovered until the 1700s?
Ah, now I get what you're saying. Okay.
Right? Like
okay.
they didn't even know it was
gotcha.
Pompeii until they found a plaque.
So nobody in recorded history, according to the timeline that we all have bought into, knew about Pompeii to the 1700s. But you're saying, well, we have maps from the 1500s that say that Pompeii was here.
Showing it's a city.
Yep.
Little buildings there.
Yeah.
And Herculaneum, too, which was another city. You probably see it on the map below where it says Vesuvius, but Herculaneum was also buried and forgotten as well. And that shows up on the maps. But, that's not all we got, Sam. So you see this fresco right here?
Yeah.
So if Pompeii wasn't destroyed in 79 AD, right, that means that it had to be destroyed later on. That means all the history that revolves around the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, had to have happened later on. That means Jesus' execution would have happened later on. That means the birth of Jesus would have happened later on. Do y'all catch my drift? Let's go.
So Pompeii is sort of heralded as having the best examples of Roman art that are preserved because, a lot of it was lost in the Dark Ages, lost to weathering, lost to looting and wars and stuff. So when they unearthed
root word. He said Moors and stuff. He did say Moors and stuff. Let me run that back for my man Root. Here we go, Root.
Under Pompeii, they found the most pristine examples of Roman artwork, right? And so, do you see the top of the screen? It's sort of like a basket of fruit.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that fruit that's all the way on the right side that's just sitting there?
Pineapple.
Right? Pineapple, right? So that looks like a pineapple, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know the story of the pineapple, guys? Like, you know, the pineapple got to Europe?
No, how did it get to Europe?
It was given to Columbus in the 1490s. The pineapple was not in Europe at all, according to their official story in the Roman Empire time. So how did the pineapple wind up on a Roman Empire platter from 79 AD? It wasn't.
I get what you're saying there.
Right? But also this, man. All right, so on the left is a artwork that was unearthed.
They need to just give me my credit. Y'all go check out my video. I did a whole build on this using down there the same pictures. I don't think I used the same exact ones, but I made the same exact points.
Discovery of Pompeii. It's very specific. And on the right is a Raphael painting from 1505.
It's pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah. How would something that was buried in Pompeii show up in Raphael's artwork in 1505?
In the 1500s.
Yeah, unless somebody who painted this saw this in Italy in the 1500s and painted it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there for sure, dude. So it's very similar and it tracks.
It tracks, right? But also you have this, which I feel is kind of damning. This is a book by a guy named Johannes Baptiste, and it is about the 1631 eruption.
Johannes Baptiste. Go look up this book. He about to explain it. Johannes Baptiste. Y'all go look up the book.
Eruption of Pompeii with surviving accounts dated 1631. And
so people who survived
about the 1631 eruption of Pompeii, a book by a guy named Johannes Baptiste, and it is about the 1631 eruption of Pompeii with surviving accounts dated 1631.
Did you hear that? Johannes Baptiste wrote a book called The Eruption of this particular mountain of Pompeii in the 1600s with eyewitness accounts. That means somebody was around living during this 1600s that lived during Pompeii, in Pompeii, lived to talk about it afterwards. That's crazy.
And
so people who survived Pompeii gave example, like told what was about?
Yeah.
Holy shit, how come I've never heard of this?
It's a good question.
And who's that little dude up there at the top in the middle of the screen, like sitting there with like it looks like a Pope's hat on?
Oh yeah. It's the Pope.
Right? It looks like the Pope's hat.
Yeah,
and that's a reference back to some kind of fish god of some pagan religions that, of course, the Roman Catholic Church that they basically basically brought into their religion to bring pagans in. Very interesting.
And as you can see, if you look at the buildings, you know, these aren't Roman era buildings. These look more something of the Middle Ages. Also, we don't have any photos of it, but there's also a canal, a special canal, and it's called the Conte Sorno Canal that was commissioned by the Pope. And it connects directly to Pompeii, runs right under Pompeii, and there's stairs connecting Pompeii, the Roman city, to this medieval canal that runs underneath the city. And how does that happen?
So say that again. So there is a canal in Pompeii.
There's documentation that the Pope commissioned this canal in the 1500s, right? So the Ponte Sorno Canal, right? And it connects several cities in the region and directly runs right under Pompeii. And there's stairs that you can walk from the ancient top city of Pompeii.
If the canal was put in the 1500s, then how the fuck is that same canal up under Pompeii if it was buried in 79 AD? I mean, let me run that back again, because like I said, a lot of this shit is going to go over your head. How the fuck did the Pope issue a pipeline or a canal in the 1500s in Pompeii if Pompeii was destroyed in 79 AD?
So say that again. So there is a canal in Pompeii.
There's documentation that the Pope commissioned this canal in the 1500s.
Hey, nah, hell nah. This ain't no goddamn city pack. This goddamn this Kimbo Slice. You understand me? This Mark Henry. You understand me? This goddamn Man Johnson. This Farouk. This is Rob Bourne. This all the strong niggas you know in this motherfucker.
That's right. It's the Ponte-Sorno Canal, right? And it connects several cities in the region and directly runs right under Pompeii. And there's stairs that you can walk from the ancient top city of Pompeii down to the canal and get your water. And
you're saying that shouldn't be possible if it wasn't discovered till the 1700s.
The canal was also buried in the rock.
Okay, real quick, guys, I want to tell you about our good friends at Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, guys. Like it's best. So here's what Screwball proof. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, you name it. It's your favorite Catholic Church come from.
Okay, so this place, this empire called Tartaria, basically consisted of regions. Think of it like a federation. So think of it like Star Wars. You know, there's a federation of states that are all part of this one empire called Tartaria. And all the religions, Islam, Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, even Buddhism, all exist in one unit. At one point in our history, in this Tartarian history, all religions were coexisting peacefully. And we have actual archaeological or architectural evidence where you see a cross with a sickle underneath and a star on it.
I'm sorry about that. I was coughing and shit. Let me run that back just a little bit. Hey, hit that like button. Hit the motherfucking like button. You understand me? Even nature out here telling y'all to hit the like button. Birds chirping, telling you. Nature, wind blowing. Hit the like button. Thumb up the video. We outside with this.
Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, even Buddhism, all exist in one unit. At one point in our history, in this Tartarian history, all religions were coexisting peacefully. And we have actual archaeological or architectural evidence where you see a cross with a sickle underneath and a star on it. You see, so it shows that there was a unified.
Like now that's just a bumper sticker that says coexist.
Exactly. No, yeah, exactly. So there was a split in the church when Christ, who, according to Fomenko, Christ was a guy named Andronicus. He was a king, King Andronicus. And
now they said Jesus Christ was a king named Andronicus. Let's run that back.
There was a split in the church when Christ, who, according to Fomenko, Christ was a guy named Andronicus. He was a king, King Andronicus. And
Christ was Andronicus? That's his name? I like that name a lot more. Anybody else like Andronicus? Sounds like the baddest DJ ever in Vegas.
Yeah, and he was essentially ruling in an area that would be close to like Istanbul in that region by the Bosphorus. Okay, he was murdered because he was a reformer. He made a lot of reforms in terms of just the people loved him. He was very, a lot of the stories of Jesus Christ are actually reflections of this king who was like a benevolent king, and everyone loved him, except for in Christianity, you have the royal Christians, which are the pagan people that ended up forming the Catholic Church, right?
Interesting.
So
pagan Christians.
Pagan Christians were actual blood relatives of this king. They were related to him by blood. And when he was murdered, because he was making a lot of reforms and going against kind of the old guard of royal Christians, a new group of Christians arose, which are called the apostolics, and they're like the followers. They're not blood related. They follow the gospels of Peter, Paul, and they look at Jesus as being the one God. Whereas the royal Christians, they created all this mythology like the Greek myths, the Roman gods. They worship the gods, and the gods give the emperors power to be emperor gods, man gods on earth, right? So when
like the Pope right now, the Pope tells everybody he is the voice of God, and he talks to God. And God, he represents God, so everyone gives him his power.
So when this rift happened, when the religions split, it split all the religions. All the religions broke away at that point, and it created this giant war that lasted for a period of, I believe it was, 400?
I don't know how long the war was.
Yeah,
It was several wars. It was centuries of wars.
Centuries of wars, yeah. And essentially what happened is this was the kind of the beginning of the end of Tartaria and the empire. And it all started to fracture, okay? And you, on one side, you had the Romanovs and the Catholic Church, which represented the West. And on the other side, you had the Mongols, which the Mongols were, you know, really, we think of them as like big, rotund Asian men, you know, with the whole Genghis Khan thing. No, they were like, they looked like they were from the Ural Mountains. They had red hair, they were fair skinned, and they were part of different hordes. Like you hear of the horde. Well, the Tartarian Empire split into different hordes: the Golden Horde, the Blue Horde, the White Horde. And in our history books,
they going in. This is some shit right here dealing with Tartaria. Hey, this is the part of the bill where I asked the 176 that's in the chat, the 176 that's viewing this particular live stream, to hit the like button to support the channel, you guys. Hey, please support the channel. Let's keep this thing going. Let's see what's going on around here. Let's keep this thing going. Who we got up in here? Oh, I thought somebody came off in here. My bad, y'all. I heard my thing pop on like somebody came in. But I guess nobody did. But hit the like button, though. Let's continue. I'm sorry about stopping.
they were part of different hordes. Like you hear of the horde. Well, the Tartarian Empire split into different hordes: the Golden Horde, the Blue Horde, the White Horde. And in our history books, we're told that, you know, the Mongols, the barbarians, came and they were attacking the West, and this was during the period of the Crusades and this whole thing, right? But in reality, what it was the First World War between the royal Christians on one side and the apostolic Christians on the others, and they were split geographically in this region of Tartaria. So that's kind of, you know, when you think of the Crusades, you think of you're told that the Crusades were about avenging the death of Jesus, but like his ancestors. So it was like Jesus's ancestors were avenging his death, you know, 100 years later. When in reality, they were avenging his death of the actual people that killed Jesus.
You mean 1,000 years later?
1,000 years later, sorry.
So the Crusade and also the Trojan War is the reflection of this same war. So the Trojan War in Greece never happened.
They just took, okay, so there's a lot to digest here. There's a lot to digest, man. This is some heavy shit. So it is of your belief and your research that this Russian scientist crunched all these numbers. And
we could show you some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with all the visuals. So here's my whole thing. You're saying Jesus lived 900 years ago.
Exactly.
Tartaria was 900 years ago.
Tartaria was 200 years ago, but big fracture happened.
Hold on. Tartaria happened in the 1800s.
That's when it got crushed.
That's the final blow.
The final blow. It was a long, prolonged death of Tartaria.
And were the Tartarians giants?
There's a giants element of this. You know, Sam, the giants are a whole other episode, and we're deep into the giants. We believe that there was a giant faction, and there
was a clan of giants in Tartaria, and they were just Tartarians were like different kinds of groups. There were like the giant Tartarians. There were the
skull, the long-headed skull people that you find in Peru.
Oh, so the elongated skull people were Tartarians too. So there were different Tartarians.
So many of those skulls throughout Crimea and the Tartar. It's what we call the Tartar Central, right there. It's sort of Western Russia, Eastern Europe. They've dug so many of those big skulls up.
Do they look anything like the Olmec heads and the Aztecs?
You know, the Olmecs are kind of a thing on their own.
Yeah, they all a thing of their own, nigga. They the ones, all this shit y'all talking about. Nigga, the ancient Americans. Nigga, you better not even fix your lips to talk about ancient American. Nigga, you better not even act like you know anything about a white boy.
I have no idea what the Olmecs are. No, we're talking about sort of the...
Oh, you don't know what they are? So you don't know that they Negroes? Oh, you ain't never seen them? Oh, see, now you just gonna count. But you know it ain't have shit to do with your peoples.
The Paracas skulls, if you want to look it up, they found a bunch of them in Peru, the giant cone-headed thing.
Yeah. Those are Tartarians?
Well, those they actually DNA tested the ones in Peru, and they found they came right from Crimea. They have no.
See, Alpha, you funny as hell.
No genetic relation to the people in South America.
Yeah.
So those guys came from Crimea.
We've been
we have a couple maps where you can see the actual scope of the empire, so you can see how much actual territory they had inhabited.
Johnny?
Oh, we can do it. You want to?
Oh yeah, well, we were told from the last presenters that Tartaria possessed some now lost technologies that would be considered advanced. Is that something you found?
We would agree with that to an extent. We do think they have. Let me load this up. Yeah, so we do have some. We do think the target.
Yeah, that nigga got the nerve to say, well, the Olmecs are just a thing of their own. Nah, nigga, we out here, cuz. You feel me? Olmec banking on you niggas, man. You feel me?
Charters were very skilled in collecting atmospheric electricity.
Were they putting space in a jar?
No.
An inside joke.
Right, so you got to understand, Tartaria was all over the world, right? So this is Burma. This is like Burma. You see these sort of towers everywhere.
Yeah.
And you see the same thing in Europe, right? This is the Milan Cathedral, and you pretty much see.
Damn, Chi Alpha, Legends of the Hidden Temple, the little game show. I used to want to go on there when I was a kid, G. Sorry to stop the build, but damn, they just brought up some shit. And them was like Olmec heads that was talking. Maybe back in the day, the ancient Olmec statues used to talk. See, now we going off into some deep shit now, Chi Alpha. Now you might have just hit on some shit. That show used to have them Olmec statues. Hey, little son, you gotta go and, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker be doing all that shit. Maybe the Olmec statues are out and they would get knowledge, give knowledge to you. I don't know. That's deep.
These kind of towers all over.
So that does that suggest centralized culture or a technology? Are
centralized? Well, sort of both. You know, each area in Tartaria was kind of their own culture. There was a Tartaria core in Russia, but this went all over the world and it sort of combined.
Nah, listen though. Listen, Mr. Aboriginal Smith. I know maybe stones don't talk, but you saying a talking stone, right? But listen, I'm high, right? That means I'm stone. I'm talking to you, stone. See, you don't even get the metaphor, G.
Different cultures. So you see similarities in all these different cultures. But we do think like these were not just ornamentation, that they actually collected electric atmosphere. They collected electricity from the atmosphere and they use it. And this is they call this a fireworks display in Hamburg, Germany, right? I think this is from the 1600s. And if you look, I mean, these things look like fireworks, but zoom in here, man. That doesn't look like fireworks, right?
No, not at all.
Buildings, right? And if
what do you think they're doing? Shooting off
like Tesla coils and stuff?
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, look at these guys fighting with swords. What is that? That lightning coming out of their swords in the 1600s?
Yeah, it's some kind of like an electrified field, right? That they're kind of interacting with.
Yeah, and it's just kind of around
like lightsabers and shit.
Yeah, I think.
Oh shit! Damn. Y'all see this shit, y'all? Now, do y'all remember me showing y'all a 1600s, 1700s, World's Fair in California, and they was doing the same thing? Tell me, am I bugging, y'all? Am I bugging out? Am I bugging out? Am I bugging
I think there's
out?
something called fire swords, where you're like there's a hobbyist that's kind of do medieval fighting with sort of electrified swords where lightning comes out of it. So we think maybe it's something.
What's the odds of this place in Russia or doing the same shit roughly around the same time that shit was going on in America? And I can show you that Russians was in America in the 1800s doing the same time. God damn, I'm gonna have to.
I mean, this was
unbelievable.
Yeah,
yeah, dude, it's.
And this was Paris in the 1700s, another fireworks festival there.
Damn, they showing you places. He got some extra shit. See, I should have took it extra. I just dealt with the Americas. I didn't even go nowhere else with that. I stayed in the Americas. This nigga showing you Paris. And nigga just showed you Russia. Look at it. They're talking about a firework expo. They're like some electricity and shit.
That's the dude.
Oh,
If I
wow.
was at that fireworks show, I'd be freaking out. I'm like, that does not.
Hey, y'all be getting that early game from Big Eye Power. Y'all. I'll be putting y'all up on some shit before it even hit the market. Y'all get the exclusive, raw and uncut, nigga. Y'all getting that shit raw and uncut, nigga. Hit the like button. Support the channel, man. Got the new PayPal link, man. Somebody check it out, see if it works. Big Aboriginal Power, all one word, for the PayPal donation. Let's keep this thing going, man. Hit the like button, man. Appreciate all the support. Make sure y'all share this on all your social media outlets. Hey, I've been dropping this type of shit, but they going in, though. I ain't
That
gonna
looks
lie.
like fireworks. That looks like Armageddon.
Well, on a side note, I mean, related to this is Tesla. There's word that Tesla grew up on the border of Tartaria in Western Europe, and he had access to some ancient textbooks, Tartarian textbooks that were later destroyed by the church, right, or buried under the Vatican, possibly in the catacombs. But that this is where Tesla got his inspiration from, this pre-existing technology where you could take atmospheric energy, free electricity.
And this isn't bullshit, man. This is Richard Feynman, who was a Nobel Prize winning physicist, wrote about in his textbook how this was possible. And you could go to YouTube, and there's a bunch of dudes, teenagers in Russia, hooking wires up to drones and flying them up in the sky and lighting their house with it. Okay.
Kind of.
Okay, I'm in, dude. Yes. Why not?
But
At this point,
they were
fuck
considered
vowels.
separate books up until the 1500s. They weren't even the same thing until the 1500s.
What was it?
The Old Testament, the New Testament. They weren't even in the same.
That I've learned on the show. So what? I hate Tartaria. I can't believe I let you let her name our cat that. Now I got to hear about this all the fucking time. I just he just must have been going to work. Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. I love this stuff.
His name's Anatoly Fomenko. Anybody can look at most of his stuff's available online. It's right there for the taking, man. And we're just scratching the surface, Sam. This goes so deep and so far that there's no bottom to this.
Okay, we're gonna get through all your stuff because I want to get into what this represents, in terms of a lot of stuff that I've come to learn to love, that I've learned on the show. So what you believe that means? Okay, so next we get into something that is okay. So far you said Jesus was 900 years ago, which is interesting.
Yeah,
when was the first Bible? I mean, the Bible supposedly was written 400 years after. You're saying that's not true at all.
No, and the Old Testament took place after the New Testament.
So you're saying the Old Testament is actually the New Testament?
Well, the events happened after Jesus.
Remember the Old Testament.
Comment section is going to be fire on this episode.
The original
fire.
Yeah, the Old Testament the original Old Testament is written in consonants, no vowels, which is mine.
Okay,
kind of.
Okay, I'm in, dude. Yes. Why not?
But
At this point,
they were
fuck
considered
vowels.
separate books.
A lot of our languages was written in straight consonants and no vowels. That's why they say once they added in the bastardized languages and started usurping and assimilating our languages into their languages, this is when they added vowels, the vowel system. You understand?
Up until the 1500s. They weren't even the same thing until the 1500s.
What was it?
The Old Testament, the New Testament. They weren't even in the same canon together until the church made itself. I think it was the Council of Trent, if I'm not mistaken. I forget. There was a meeting among the church and they merged.
So the royals took out the apocalyptics. Did that what happened? That they took them out and then they're
over the course of decades, it was a lot of civil war. There was the whole thing of the Reformation wasn't just about Martin Luther putting his demands on the thing. It was this civil war between the Protestants and the Eastern Orthodox and the Holy Roman Empire that they were trying to establish their separate empire, separate from the great Eastern Tartaria.
Okay, now we're getting into some stuff. You say ancient Egyptians were around up to like the 1700s?
Yeah.
Damn. Can I get some fire emojis? Can I get a few fire emojis?
Up to like the 17.
They were trying to establish they're a separate empire, separate from the great Eastern Tartaria.
Okay, now we're getting into some stuff. You say ancient Egyptians were around up to like the 1700s?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they say, oh, the pyramids, they're even older than we even think, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, personally, I believe in they were made with concrete in the 14th century with geopolymer concrete. They were.
Damn, you just gonna expose the little Egyptian pyramids like that, G? You just gonna say they was just poured with concrete in the 1400s like that? You just gonna do them like that, G?
Than we even think. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, personally, I believe in they were made with concrete in the 14th century with geopolymer concrete. They were poured in place where you take limestone, you grind it up, you throw in some rocks, you pour the forms, and we have some pictures and evidence of that. And the Egyptologists will never let you actually test any of this stuff. It's very close. It's closely controlled because think about it. That's their whole tourism industry is based on,
Expose them, big bruh. Expose them, big bruh. You know what I'm saying? Expose them, big bruh.
3,500 year massive, dynastic rule. And even to this day, people are arguing about how did they move these 100-ton blocks across the desert. And it's like, well, what if they just poured them in place like you would pour concrete? And they, the Egyptologists go, no way, that couldn't happen. But they won't let you test the actual composition of the rock, which would prove that you could easily tell it was, an actual cement. But the Egyptians really were Egypt was like the burial ground of the Tartarian kings. It was like when you hear about crossing the river Styx, according to Fomenko, you would cross the river Styx, which would be the Mediterranean, and you would have these sarcophagi where it would be the mummies inside of a box, inside of a box, inside of a box. And they would.
Where do you find that system at? You ever heard of Tikal, Palenque? He said the Mediterranean, right? What's over there by the Mediterranean? The Minoans? I'm just giving y'all this.
Egypt was really a great place to bury people because it's dry.
Hold
it's
on.
Kind of.
What did you just say? What could just say?
Box inside of a box. And Egypt was really a great place to bury people because it's dry. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere and it can be guarded and.
Oh, so is that why all those mummies over there that they found in the Sudan got cocaine and tobacco on it? Is that why they got all this gold and shit? Cause they from America and we just went over there like a cemetery? Damn, G.
So yeah, we think, based on our research of Fomenko and not just Fomenko, but other stuff, that it looks like Egypt really didn't get its start until about in the 1400s.
Man, I'm about to end this. Y'all ain't even trying to support the channel. Y'all ain't even hitting the like button. We got 212 in here and we got 150 likes. This is a fire build, G. This is a fire. Even though I done gave y'all a lot of this game, they giving y'all some extras. They going in. They must have been really studying that flamenco shit. I need to get on his work a little more. It's just so extended. It's just so extent. It's like it really goes on forever. Let's get it.
Well, I'll say this about Egypt. Well, Scott's right. I think there's an element of Egypt that is older than shit. I don't know if you're familiar with Robert Schoch. He's a sort of geologist from Boston University. He tested. He was brought to Egypt to sort of test. The Sphinx. Because there's a big theory about the water erosion on the Sphinx. Mm-hmm. And his conclusion, this Harvard trained, or he's a Yale trained geologist at Boston College, I think, and he says the Sphinx has thousands of years of rain and water erosion on it, on the enclosure and on the back of the Sphinx. And that only happened at the end of the last ice age when there was enough water to cause that sort of erosion on there. Mm-hmm. And the head of the Sphinx if you look at the Sphinx, it's way smaller than the rest of the body. So the head was probably put there after the fact, and there was something there before. So ancient Egypt might be. So
you're saying the head of the Sphinx isn't a part of the original thing, and that's.
I don't think it is. And if you look at any picture of the Sphinx, you can see that head is tiny compared to the rest of the body. I think it was personally carved down, or was a separate piece of stone altogether.
The dog in the background's over it. He's like, I'm here. I've heard about Tartaria 1,000 times. But your what that means is like,
all right, and who constructed the Sphinx? Who constructed the Sphinx? If the Sphinx is the oldest and dated that old, but who built it? Don't you got a whole book called The Construction of Queen Mu and the Construction of the Egyptian Sphinx? And Queen Mu got another book called Queen Mu and the Rise of the Maya Empire. So she was the queen of the Maya Empire. She would have took a whole bunch of Mayans over there with her, right, on this mission, on a work trip, you feel me, to construct the Sphinx. And if this is the oldest, so that means America is the oldest. Once again,
there was something here.
Yeah.
It's just the history
The story of the pharaohs, the hieroglyphs, all the images that you see, the coffins, the sarcophagi. That's all Middle Ages.
Middle Age stuff. Yeah.
that shit happened in the Middle Ages, y'all. They saying all them all them mummies, sarcophagus, them pillars, the motherfucking tadpoles, the zygites, the steles, all that shit that you see in Egypt only happened in the Middle Ages, G. God damn, they crushing some shit.
There was definitely something, a proto civilization there before that probably the Egyptians inherited. These megaliths and some of the things other than the pyramids, which we believe they built in the 1400s using concrete.
Does that include the Aztec pyramids as well?
All pyramids.
Well, there's pyramids all over Russia, all over where we're saying Tartaria is, and we're saying that Tartaria was all over Central, North, and South America.
Did you hear what he said? He said it's pyramids and the same shit in Russia, what they call ancient Tartaria, and they believe that ancient Tartaria was also in America. Come on,
Middle Ages.
Out of all the spots in the world you can say it came from America, bitch, you got it wrong. Bitch, Tartaria, all that shit came from America. We didn't come from Tartaria. You gotta ask back. You niggas don't got enough information to tap into it because you don't know what's going on in America. So you can't even tell me that some shit came from somewhere else when you don't know about the motherfucking Omax, white boy. Real shit, nigga. This big aboriginal power. I'm gonna tell you about the Omax. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna tell you. You're talking to a motherfucking Omax. Let's go.
Middle Age stuff. Yeah, there was definitely something, a proto civilization there before that probably the Egyptians inherited. These megaliths and some of the things other than the pyramids, which we believe they built in the 1400s using concrete.
Does that include the Aztec pyramids as well?
All pyramids.
What?
Well, there's pyramids all over Russia, all over where we're saying
nigga, we
Tartaria
talking about
is, and
America.
we're saying that Tartaria was all over Central, North.
You notice he didn't say shit about America, did he? He skipped that. Look, I'll tell you, I will get on this white boy ass so motherfucking quick. I'll be like white on rice, nigga. Like white on rice, nigga. If he even act like he knows something about America, nigga. If he say, oh, the Aztec, nigga, you don't know shit.
In South America, there's pyramids.
Talk about what you talk about. Just don't leave America out of it, G. We'll do this. We'll add the rest of this in later on.
Pyramids over the world. There's pyramids in China. There's pyramids in Cambodia. There's even pyramids in France. So
I'm trying to grasp what I think Tartaria was. Is it just another civilization?
It was the civilization, Sam. It ruled the world up until this fracturing in the 1100s. It was everything, and it was the Mongol invasions. When we talk about this horde of Mongols, that was them trying to reclaim their empire, and they conquered way more than what the history says they were. And we have pictures of everything where Genghis Khan is this European royal, and also the depictions that are associated with Marco Polo of going to China. It's northern Russia for sure.
So they weren't the Mongols, as described, as sort of nomadic, like horse people. They weren't horse people at all. Is what you're saying?
Did y'all hear that?
Well, it was a cavalry, yeah, basically. So
it was still okay. It was similar in the way.
So let me give you sort of a gross simplification of this. During this civil war that kicked off with the death of Jesus and stuff, you had this royal faction sort of declare independence from the rest of the empire and sort of take the lands in Italy and France for themselves. And what happened in Tartaria is it reformed itself into a military order. where they conscripted 1/10 of the wealth and 1/10 of the population. And they created these different hordes, these professional armies that were just huge. They rode horses, they shot arrows, they lived in tents, and they conquered pretty much the whole known world. They went up to England, they were all through Africa. It's way more than what history says the Mongols conquered. And so they held that area from about 1200 to about 1400. Then they were sort of pushed back by the royal forces, and they sort of reclaimed back Europe and the rest of the world over time. And eventually we're at where we are today.
Do you have a sense for what that sort of that interstitial period was where they ruled Europe? Was that kind of a military reign? Was it martial?
But it's a royal reign, like all the cathedrals, the buildings, all these grand structures that we think of in medieval Europe and Renaissance Europe was from this quote Mongol conquest all the way to England.
Wow. Okay.
And
so interesting, dude. So interesting, man.
Sam, the Mongol does not even didn't even refer to the people living in modern day Mongolia. Mongol is just sort of a word for mogul. Like great person. Mongol just simply means great. And there's tons of different variations. And there's other places around the world that are referred to as Mogul or Mongol or some kind of variant of Mongol around the world. And Mongolia did not get that designation as Mongolia until the 1700s. They had no history of Genghis Khan until it was brought to them by the Europeans. There's no Mongol capital city.
So you would call that a reconquest? Is that kind of what you're?
A reconquest, exactly. Yeah.
Now, do you get the sense that they were in some corners maybe greeted as liberators? I mean, were there people welcoming?
Yeah, and who were they conquering? If Tartaria was ruling, who were they conquering?
We say they're the only empire because there was no competitors, but they weren't everywhere.
If Tartaria was ruling, who was they trying to conquer? And you just said that they came to America and took, nigga, they was trying to conquer the great American empire, nigga, the Amaru, nigga, the Amerindian. What are you talking about, white boy? You don't know nothing about America, man. Hey, call Big Al Power if you want me to come on and blow all y'all minds on this channel. I'm telling y'all, I might have to reach out to these guys because I come on and blow their whole mind. I blow their whole mind, G. I blow their whole mind, though, G. I blow their whole mind, though, G.
So they kind of just expanded. It was a huge expansion for the empire during this period of the 12 to 1300s up until the 1500s, when it's sort of it's kind of a wave, and the wave breaks and recedes, kind of.
Now, maybe I've already, but Judaism existed? It didn't exist, or? I mean, this is not anti-Semitic. This is just a discussion. Was Judaism, Hinduism, does any of that exist?
Yeah.
But they were different from Tartaria, or
no? Tartaria was multi-religious.
Oh, okay. This is.
Remember, he just said he found all of the religions there at one time.
So
multiracial, multi-religious. It had a royal core of these sort of like Russian Christians, but it was all over the world, and they were very open to religious freedom. And a lot of stuff they were the original Vedas. Even if you look in Hindu mythology, the Vedas came from like light-skinned people from the north. And even there's a huge Slavic mythology that they were the originators of the Vedas, and the sort of area what we're talking about in sort of Western Russia was the Asgard of Odin. And then that sort of German folklore.
Yeah, like the oldest religion is Zoroastrianism. And you can trace that back to basically in like central Siberia. There's some archaeological sites that point to a Zoroastrian early proto-Vedic society that migrated down into what we know as Iran and Persia, at the time. So
wait, you two have found this as sort of a side project. So that would suggest to me that modern historians are somehow complicit in covering this up, right? I mean, would you say there's like a sort of a
yes and no
conspiracy to keep this?
Nobody's going to put their tenure and their career to go against the grain, and stuff is. And they had from the 1600s, they had this what we call Scaligerine chronology, the sort of timeline that we all sort of accept now, and everything that's been done has just been automatically to fit this erroneous timeline. So there is definite conspiratorial and hiding of it, but a lot of it is just just sort of
like the average historian. Would you say they would know about this as a sort of an alternative?
I would say no. I would say no.
Okay. All right.
So interesting. And then, because I do a show with a friend of mine who doesn't believe in conspiracies, and we just debate this. He's like, so everybody's in on it. Is that what you're saying? Like they were able to keep this secret forever, and everybody, it's like you have a talking point. You're like, Egyptians were Christians. I mean, that to everybody would blow their skull. They're like, what do you mean they were?
Yes, I think there is, with Egyptology, I think they're kind of complicit because there's tons of Christian iconography among Egypt. And the whole thing with the hieroglyphs, the hieroglyphs are not what the Egyptologists say they are. They are a pictorial version of the Coptic Christian language. And before Champollion came out with his official translations of the hieroglyphs that still gets used today, if you knew the Coptic Christian language, you could read the hieroglyphs, and they would quote the Bible. They would make sense if you read them as Coptic Christian.
Wow.
What kind of cryptic language? Christian
Coptic.
language?
Coptic.
Okay, send me that in an email.
Okay.
How to spell that? That's so interesting, dude. It's so interesting.
Coptic.
I am illiterate.
So when Johnny brought it up earlier, our last researchers that came on, they were talking about the organs, the musical organs.
Okay. Yeah. I'll show you something.
Hey, so can y'all hit the like button? Can y'all please hit the like button? Hit the like button. Let's get it. Let's turn up one time. Let's keep this information flowing. I don't know if y'all can hear me. My background probably kind of loud. Drop some fire emojis if y'all feeling the build, man. We got 202 still in the chat. We got 175 on the likes. I ain't even gonna complain about that. I appreciate all the support, you guys. I really do. Let's keep it going. Hey man, hit the link, support the channel. Let's go.
It's upside down too.
Oh, it's upside. Yeah, the map's upside down. You guys see where everything is? It's kind of upside down. So, where am I?
You're in Africa.
All right, so Europe, you got little buildings, little cathedrals, right? You got something big here in England, but just little. And look, and we're gonna go to Rome, the Roman Empire. Where's the Colosseum? Where's the
Parthenon?
Where's the Parthenon? Where's the Forum? Nothing, right? But then we start going east. We start going into the Tartarian.
And this map is from when?
1450.
1450. And what you're saying is, for such a giant, quote unquote, empire, there are none of their in this map of historical buildings. They have none of their historical buildings.
A map made by an Italian, no less. This was an Italian map.
Someone who would be motivated to exaggerate
the greatness of Italy and Rome. But everything, this is all Russia, man. All these kingdoms right here.
Wow.
And look how crazy it is compared to Europe.
What the hell is that thing in the middle? Kind of in the middle there. That's crazy.
What thing?
It would look like almost like a outdoor structure, like a gazebo or something, but it was massive on the map.
Tons of crazy stuff. And look at Africa too. Africa is all castled up too.
Now, is Russia a big part of Tartaria? And was there any like central headquarters for these people?
Yeah, Scott, you want to?
Yeah, well, the first, you have to think of it as like, when you think of Rome as we know it, you think of Italy, right? But the first Rome was really in Alexandria. That's like in Egypt, the first Rome. There's been like 4 or 5 different Romes, different locations where it's called Rome. But the capital of Tartaria would be what's called it's moved a couple times, but it's closer to Moscow. It's like central Russia, right? And all the names have changed over the years. So it was called Vladimir, was the capital at one point of Tartaria, the hub. And then the capital would move throughout.
Traditional history would call that area Muscovy, right? Wouldn't that be
Muscovite,
that?
Yeah.
How the fuck is the ancient name for Moscow Muskogee? Hold up now. Because we know we got the Muskogee people, the Muskogee, you know what I'm saying? Racists, Indians.
Muscovy or Muscovite Tartary. you know,
Muscovites, Tartaries. What are they talking about? This is
and there's a lot of people who criticize the scientist, and they thought, well, he's just a propagandist. He's just trying to bolster his, heritage and trying to make Russia seem like this, overblown thing. But I don't think someone would spend 20 years of their life and write 7 volumes and go through kind of work that he did to just completely fabricate this whole story. I mean, it's just not to me. It's not plausible. But
there is something going on between Russia and Western civilization that doesn't exist with China, because for some reason the International Banking Organization has no problems with working with China, but for some reason they refuse to work with Russia. And I've had different discussions with people, and they think that's because, Russia and the way they want to operate, and they don't want to play. But there's something about Russia that the powers that be of the Western banking cartels do not want to work with. And this could easily be a part of it. If we live in, I believe we live in a Jesuit world, and they control everything. And it sounds like they even control what is our reality, what we believe is our history. And if you control history, you control literally everything. I could see that Russia could be the center of Tataria. And then you're like, well, why doesn't Putin and all them talk about that? Well, they could be Jesuit as well. I mean, you could have Jesuits inside of Russia playing a game of international cat and mouse, but they, at the end of the day, they all play ball. If you look at the Rothschild family crest and the Russian crest, it's very similar. Mm-hmm. So it just is the interesting thing. There's something going on with Russia that does not allow the Western civilized banking cartels to work with. There's something. And it could be Tataria. It could be the center of power, and they don't want anyone to know that all this history is a complete and utter lie. Which is very interesting. I know that answer's out there, and I don't know if today's will be answered, but it is definitely 100% out there. It's very interesting. Okay, so we already got through the actual historic resources and vast tract of land.
So, real quick, how centralized was their government? Was it? Do you have any sense of what the structure of the government was? The world government?
Depends on kind of when you're talking about. It wasn't. So what we know, there's a lot of religious freedom and stuff, but all these sort of kingdoms around the world did pay tributes. And we, for the show, we actually interviewed a currency expert who tracked the different currencies around, and the coinage. You could follow that they had all the coinage kind of went into Russia and stuff. It was sort of like a trading empire where they would collect taxes and tribute from the different areas that they were in.
I just totally see that this would totally makes sense. I mean, it starts coming together a little bit. It's so interesting. So we got through the historical to the Tartarian culture, and you want to talk about that? Advanced technology and astronomical.
They're the same royal lines of France in trading distance, because he was basically he took over, and Peter the Great.
Hit the like button, y'all. Hey, I might even drop the link here in a minute.
Was sort of a European royal, and they were the kind of the first czars of Russia, and they sort of Peter the Great moved the capital away from Moscow to St. Petersburg, which was sort of Moscow was sort of like a disputed, very Tartar loyal, and he moved everything closer to be with Europe in trading distance, because he was basically a European. He grew up in the British Navy pretty much. So when you think of the Romanovs, they're the same royal lines of France and England and Germany and everything. But when they conquered Russia, they kind of told everybody that in Russia that they had the whole country, that there was no Tartaria. But all the people outside of Russia kind of knew about the empire, and they wrote about it in the atlases. And you can see like the atlas from the 1700s. You have all the flags from the different places. You have the Tartary has 2 flags. It has a flag for the nation, and it has a.
I've showed this information as well. Maybe not all these damn flags, but I did find these 2 right here online. from a source. I did find these two right here.
Imperial flag. And this is the 1700s. When people equate the Tartars with the Mongols were done in 1450, according to official history. That empire collapsed. So you would not be having flags of Tartary in the 1700s. And it's all over the place, man. It's kind of small here, but you have the griffin, which is the royal imperial symbol of the Tartar emperors. Then you have the owl, which is the sort of the nation of Tartaria. Look, if you look at the top, you got Japan, China, Tartary, other China. So it was there. It was up until the early 1800s. It was looked at as another country, and even I think it's the 1771 edition of Encyclopedia Britannica.
So this one
says Tartaria is the biggest country on Earth by land. And
how big was it? Like, was it like all of Russia? Was it a big chunk of China? Wow.
But also, I guess that answer depends on
Depends on when.
Well, also,
hold on. Look at what they're trying to say Tartaria is, though. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see where they trying to say Tartaria is? All of Europe and damn near all of America. They got Florida, all of that motherfucker, California, going all the way up to down near the Pacific. Y'all see that shit? But they got it ass backwards though, G. They got it ass backwards.
So what? I mean, is it an empire where these are more like colonies? Is it the colonial system,
Yes.
or
Yeah,
so some of these wouldn't necessarily technically be part of the country proper, right?
Yeah, country proper is going to be sort of like central Russia, central western Russia, and also China was a big part of this.
And the United States was part of Tartaria.
Yeah, it was colonized from the.
Wow.
But it's like an outpost, a colony.
Yeah, it was an outpost, but there were still pretty sizable cities in the U.S. and San Francisco, huge Tartarian city. If you look at the earliest photographs.
You heard that nigga said San Francisco was Tardy. Let's go.
San Francisco. And everybody knows that San Francisco was destroyed in an earthquake in 1906. But what they don't know is that there was a giant fire in the city in 1850 that destroyed a lot of stuff. But if you look at the earliest photographs of San Francisco.
I already showed y'all some of the earliest photographs. We already know what this is going to. Let's see what this white boy got to say.
Hold on. Give you guys a whole architectural rundown on this, just so you kind of see where Tartaria is. And
it's unbelievable that it could just be wiped off.
Have you seen the melting bricks?
Melting bricks?
Yeah.
Where at?
I don't know. He brought it up last time. He'd show us like buildings that were part of there and they were melted or exploded.
Well, you guys aren't saying that there was some global calamity, right? That ended.
We are, but
you are.
It might be different. There was an event in the early 1800s.
Oh shit! What event happened in the 1800s, nigga? If you really doing research and you can't mention this great event without mentioning America's, the comet of 1809, the Madrid earthquake of 1811. The mud flood in the late 1811 that happened all the way up to 1812. Let's go.
A global calamity that we could go into that
wow.
That pretty much facilitated Tartaria being covered up. I don't know if they talk about the mud flood and all the whole thing, all the buildings that were buried.
Yeah, we've gotten into that. I mean, what's your whole theory on the mud floods?
Yeah, well, let's go into that now.
We could do a whole episode of mud floods.
Yeah. So what happened with how Tartaria fell was there was a it's called Pugachev's Rebellion in history, and the Romanovs.
The last remnants of the old empire in America was destroyed during the Civil War. The last remnants of our empire in Russia got destroyed in World War II.
Sort of recorded as this sort of peasant rebellion, but it was really the sort of military takedown of Tartaria. And it happened in the late 1700s. and it sort of pushed Tartaria. It allowed the Romanov armies to sort of move west or move east across Siberia and get rid of Tartaria. But in the early 1800s, there was an event, and it was called. We think that it was precipitated by a comet. There's a thing called the Napoleon's Comet in 1811, and this was written about in War and Peace. But there's a lot of authors at the time wrote about this great comet that passed pretty much over North America during this time, and it caused famines. And official history says it never hit, but a lot of people think that it did hit, and it created a lot of hardship during this time. There's also a huge volcanoes going off, a huge spike in volcanic activity. And you have the Mount Tambora volcano in 1815. And I don't know if you guys heard the year without a summer. It caused so much destruction, only in the Northern Hemisphere, not in the Southern Hemisphere where it went off. But in the year 1816, there was massive famine, massive crop failure because they didn't have a summer that year. It was everything was crowded, gray and covered up. The crops have been There's been a lot written about this.
I've never heard about that. Now that's interesting. Let me run that back because I'm gonna have to steal it. I'm gonna have to go back and look up some shit on that. Appreciate that, white boy. Good looking white boy.
Volcanoes going off, a huge spike in volcanic activity. And you have the Mount Tambora volcano in 1815. And I don't know if you guys heard the year without a summer.
The year without a summer.
It caused so much destruction, only in the Northern Hemisphere, not in the Southern Hemisphere where it went off. But in the year 1816, there was massive famine, massive crop failure because they didn't have a summer that year. It was everything was crowded, gray and covered up. The crops have been There's been a lot written about this. Year without the summer. But there was also something in the U.S. called the New Madrid quake. That's kind of what this article talks about. That there was a giant, 8-point earthquake in the Mississippi.
I never heard of that. I'm gonna definitely have to look that up. Definitely.
Mississippi Valley in 1812 that caused the Mississippi River to run backwards. There's a whole story about this ferry boat that was on the river while it was running backwards. And the president at the time, I think it was John Adams, said he felt it in the White House, and this earthquake rang church bells in Boston.
Wow.
So, and also coincidentally at this time is you have a bunch of military invasions all around the world at this exact same time. You have something called the War of 1812, where the British came back into America and started causing problems. You had tons of Spanish.
You have Russians over here at 1808. You got Spanish over here at 1811. You had the French coming in the early 18. You had a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
And they talking about we don't fight. Nigga, he was cut down there getting jumped.
The Napoleon in Russia, which is a whole separate part of this Tartaria story, where Napoleon was involved in help covering it up. He was in Moscow in 1812 at this time, coincidentally, and the Spanish were crushing rebellions all throughout South America, right in this between 1812 and 18.
Napoleon ran a lot of these Russians out in the early 1800s. A lot of these Russians invaded and came to America. That's when you find a lot of these Russian treaties in America with a lot of these other tribes. You don't find no beef, no war, nothing really. We'll get into that later on.
Around the 1812 is just chaos around the world.
Right? Yeah.
Just
what better way to erase, to kind of put the final nail in an empire's coffin under the cover of calamity and, real climate change that's happening because of volcanoes and earthquakes and all that.
It's so
it provides a perfect cover to actually essentially erase this empire from history once and for all.
Yeah.
So where does this fit into everything? Like we've learned that this might be a simulation where we live. It's a very special place. You have people talking about the firmament and all that stuff. What does this play into that?
Well, it's my personal feelings. I think we're in a multi-dimensional reality. You say this is a simulation, Sam. I think this is a fractal, and we're looking at a slice of the fractal kind of thing. It goes higher and lower forever. So you talk about
multiple dimensions, you believe?
Yeah. And I think there's sort of a component of people to sort of accessing these higher planes.
Yeah, I personally, I feel like in essence, what we're looking at is kind of like as humanity, the reason Tartaria and this idea of advanced technology and a peaceful civilization has been withheld from us is that it's like, imagine, we keep thinking we're.
Hey, before this bill ends, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button. And I appreciate if you guys can share this on all your social media outlets. If you guys want to support the channel, please do. Hey, but definitely hit the like button and share this around. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. High vibes. Nothing but love to everybody that's in here that's watching this. Hopefully y'all have a beautiful, beautiful day after this end of this build. But we're gonna continue this build for right now.
We're progressing with technology, and we keep going further, and the more devices we have, the more advanced we are. But what if we've already been advanced? What if we already knew how to pull electricity out of the air? What if we knew how to create these healing centers of churches that were tuning the frequencies, where you'd walk in and the organ would play a tone and it would actually start healing you frequency-wise from the inside out? What if this stuff already existed, and what happened is, people got this information and this knowledge and they put it on the shelf, or they covered it up, or I call it like historically squatting. Like, they squatted on the history of some advanced way that we were living, and they've used it ever since to control.
This was going to be my question related to that. What I feel like there's something, just a piece missing here.
Johnny.
And yeah, that piece that y'all missing is the Americas in a breakdown from a Negro aspect that's tapping into these memory cells to get y'all the hidden pieces. Come holler at me if you want that.
Can't hear you. Oh, now we can't. Nope. Nope. Still can't hear you, John.
We are the missing piece.
And you got to, technology's cock blocking, bro.
What would be the motivation for those civilizations to as you said, squat or to blot out the history?
Yeah. Why?
I feel like there's a piece missing there.
What is the purpose of why would the Roman Catholic Church want to do this?
To lose technology. I mean, is it some kind of fear of another global reign, that they just don't want that again, and they feel like this technology is too dangerous because it empowers the person who knows those secrets to rule the world?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the question of, why did Tesla die with a pigeon as his best friend?
Yeah, why did Westinghouse tear down his Tesla tower?
I think there's nefarious dark forces that they don't want to see humanity come together in a way that would limit these people's control over that humanity.
They'd rather hide it behind secret societies, secret.
Well, I mean, if we're in the demons, we're in the multiple dimensions. This could be low realm demons trying to control this realm by destroying the people who are running it. And we're just in a time where, like, these demons have had, a lot of control. I mean, like, where do Anunnaki fall into this whole thing? Where do the Sumerian texts fall into all this stuff? Is that just misinformation put out by the Roman Catholic Church?
No, I happen to personally, it's not part of this presentation, but I happen to believe there's an alien multidimensional contingent here that's sort of just under the surface.
Do you think they were advanced enough to leave planet Earth or this realm?
Tartaria?
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything solid. We're trying to piece together the historic text and the sort of visual evidence, but it's possible.
Okay, so
nigga, just say you ain't there yet, nigga.
Now let's start. So it's like Anunnaki still are in play. Sumerian texts are still in play. It's like, what if the Tartarians were kind of running this place peacefully? These low level demons come and they take.
Shout out to Shot Alpha for the cash out donation, man. He said, for CD Aztec looking boy. You got jokes. You're like a dark mongoloid.
Take over.
Shout out to Shy Alpha for the cash out donation, man. Hey, don't let him be the only one. Support the channel, y'all, man. Support the channel. I got y'all a decent bill today. Wasn't all that. It was decent. You know what I'm saying? Support the channel, though, man. Let's get it.
For a little while, but they don't want anyone to know that there was a peaceful way of existing. They don't want everybody to know that, all religions can coexist. That's what I believe is going on. I think this presentation fits exactly that. And, the introduction of all of these new holy books that each have this kind of, you tell me that the Old Testament is actually New Testament and how they flipped all that. Like that stuff just adds into what I've been saying forever, which is that this group of people want chaos.
Yeah.
They don't want us coming together, and we all fight over this dumb stuff is actually playing into their game plan. I don't know how to change it. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no clue at this point how you can time with your own thing and your own story. You basically control all the mechanisms in which the information gets out. So only information you want gets out.
Yeah. Do you think
interesting, dude?
Do you think they had anything to do with the U.S. government? I mean, the Constitution was in 1789.
Yeah. It's funny. This is Fomenko's reconstruction, but so think of the colonization of America, right? We were pretty much up on the eastern seaboard for 300 years before we even decided to move west, right? And he corresponds the westward movement to actually being able to go to these lands. According to Fomenko, we couldn't go into the West because it was part of his empire. And with Napoleon and the sort of cataclysm in the empire was cut off from its core in Russia. And then it was then in the early 1800s, the first half of the 1800s, that we were then able to go into these frontiers and sort of take over these lands.
That is so interesting, man. That is so interesting, dude.
So what we know as the natives, were they associated with Tartaria, like the Native Americans?
They were sort of, had their culture and stuff, but there's Christian symbology, there's this sort of Eastern Slavic connection, and even the Mormons were kind of onto something when they were talking about the lost Holy Kingdom in the U.S. We think actually Utah was actually a giant Tartaria hub that they sort of kind of repurposed and took for themselves.
So interesting, dude. And guess what? Why not? I'm in.
I'm gonna end this build right here, you guys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the build. I'm gonna drop the link out here. So if anybody wanna pop in, y'all can pop in. As I do that, we're gonna take a quick little breaky break. You feel me? To give y'all enough time to hit the like button. Give y'all enough time to hit the like button. And like I said, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. We'll be back in 30 seconds. We got the brother Hardline Boss up in here. What's good?
Not much. I just wanted to tell the chat and everybody something I stumbled upon last night, and it's just funny how everything correlates. But now, I started reading about the Russian colonies, all that was in Alaska and in Cali, all the way up there to Southern Cali or whatever like that. And today you come with this, and they showed a map and show it extended all the way down in South America. But now, a couple years ago, I posted on that IG that I told you that I got watched. The images, like it was like an Emerald Palace out there in Frisco. It was castles, but they claimed it was all built for the World Fair and taken down. And then when you look at what they said it was built out of, they said it was built out of horsehair. But now when you see the images and then you look at like footage of the World Fair or anything like that, you could instantly tell that's a lie right there. Bam, everything after that they said was destroyed in a fire. The same thing happened in Salt Lake City, St. Louis, Chicago, New York. All these cities all had World's Fairs. You can all look them up. all of them had raw ass stuff that ain't there no more. You go all look into that or whatever right there. Then on the document it was talking about the Russian colonies. It said when Spain and Europe decided to go west, Russia decided to go east when they wanted to push out here. So now I thought about it. I said, hold on. They said Russia went east, came through Siberia, all that, boom, came into Alaska. Who they run into, how they did it, bam, came down to Cali. So I had to think about it. Hold on. They keep telling y'all in code all the religions and everything came from the far east. If Russia came east through Asia and all that to get here, we are the true far east. You got to open your mind up. If they telling you the Asiatic black man is the oldest, we have to be the Asiatic black man then from the far east.
Well,
Because they
listen.
telling you.
Let's go to your thesaurus. Let's go to your thesaurus. Let's look up
Mm-hmm,
the word Asia, right? You're gonna
mm-hmm.
find that the original spelling of the word that they call Asia was spelled Ayassia, right? That's Asia. And when you look up the definition of this word Asia, it means material world. And
So Asia is the whole damn world.
huh?
So Asia is the whole world then.
It
I
means
was
material world. So you got a non-material, which is I guess the spiritual, and then you have the material world right here. And so when you get into text and it says the Asiatic people, it just means the first people to walk the material, to be on the material world. So if you consider yourself an Atanchan, right, or an Aboriginal, that automatically make you one of the first people of the material world.
fast. So then upon definition, that would make us Asiatic. Or that would make Asiatics coming from us.
Yeah, not Asia as you see it spelled today with the whole nother definition. Asia, not Asia, Asia,
They
right?
shut.
The Asiatic, the Asiatic black man. So
Because then I'm looking at they map and then I'm reversing it. So how they saying Tataria took over Cali and all the West Coast and then all that part of Asia. Then I'm saying, hold on, flip it. They said it's the Western Shi Empire. I spoke on it before. I said they have hella similarities to the Olmec. They got step pyramids and all the shit. So what if in reverse it was some type of maritime empire leaving from out of the West Coast being sent out into those lands? You feel me? And that's how you starting to see similarities right then and there when you go over there into those first parts of Asia. Because now you can look into that and they got hella the same similarities as down there in Mexico. But they code words on them is Western Shi Empire.
right. So yeah, you can see a lot of connections. You feel me? Especially getting into some of these old dynasties, like you said, the Shi, or what they call the Ki, the Amashi. You feel me? You got the Amaru. You know what I'm saying? But some people go back to even I see somebody said they don't believe in the Tartarian story or the mud flood. Hey, it's so much evidence on that. You say you believe in the Anunnaki story before that. I mean, that's pretty much the same thing. It just talks about global humans with superiority that had a task that made other people, even nomadic tribes, do things that they wasn't even accustomed to doing. So when you get the Anunnaki, you got the Anu. That's the Anu. And then Aki means God. You feel me? So you got the people of God, Anu. That's the civilization. So you got the Anu Aki, you feel me? So it's the same thing, G.
Facts.
We got Mr. Meticulous in the building. Peace to Mr. Meticulous. Peace, brother. Me
Peace to everybody. I
Peace. How you
love all
doing?
my people. What's up, everybody?
Man, I'm doing good. How about yourself? How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm always good. So,
That's what's up.
I just wanted to come on and say that I love y'all and I appreciate the information. I'm gonna keep muted. when my background get kind of loud, I'm gonna keep muting. So I just came on to say how much love and appreciation that I have for you and your attempts to like wake us up and give us just new information and different things to think about.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I would like to say one thing and then I'm gonna jump off, right? So what about the head of the dragon and shit like that? If you see how that motherfucker grabbed the main Tartary empire over there in Asia and wrapped back around east and came to the western side and went down as a tail of the snake into Peru and all of that shit.
Right.
Did y'all not see that?
Yeah. And maybe that gets into this global empire to how, which later on will become what the foundation of ancient China and all these other places was, because every year China give reference to what a dragon they parade through the street, with men inside of it engulfed. And if you go back to Levanta and you look at the plumed serpent, which is nothing more than a dragon, you see a man or a Olmec inside of this same plumed serpent.
Plume serpent or Leviathan or something like that. Like, right?
Right,
Leviathan.
dragon. And then
Okay.
once you get into
Okay.
the dragon, you get into the Dracoan Empire, Quetzalcoatl, all these old things, which simply means bringers of civilization. So when you see the Chinese and all these cultures constantly giving reference to a plume serpent or what we call a dragon, that's simply saying this form of this ancient culture of these particular nations of people that what this symbol represent brought civilization, brought life to these particular places. That's
Okay.
my
And
that's
I
my interpretation.
So I understand what you're saying, right? So what I was doing was I was tying it in like to a mental perspective of how they say like the dragon, and then how he just draws the circle around the Tartary Empire, and when it wrapped around, say, the globe or whatever, and came off of eastern China and came around through the Bering Strait, came through North America and went into Peru all the way down to the bottom, like, you know what I'm saying? To me, that would represent some kind of dragon or dragon's head. And like you could come with a dragon body. Like if you go look at the whole, you know what I'm saying?
The outlook, the way it was shaped out. Yeah, the way that shit was shaped did look kind of like a dragon though, for real.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And I'm saying like maybe it got other ways that you look at it. You know what I'm saying? The dragon represent the whole thing, like the entirety of the whole thing. But then when you look at it on a map, like and start looking at it, the dragon represent the people and that they area that they did. It looked like a dragon. You know what I'm saying? The area that they represented, it was in the shape of a dragon.
Right.
When you looked at it on a map or a globe.
Right. Hey, somebody just asked a question
You
in the
get me?
chat. Yeah. Somebody asked a question in the chat. I think it's pretty a dope question. Somebody said, "Who came up with the compass? Who came up with the compass?" Uh, that's a dope ass question. I believe that the Olmecs, under my understanding, came up with the compass, or what they call a compass, which is usually a device systematically or generally used to give a direction, a sense, or at least a sense of direction. Usually done off of magnetism, off of Earth, uh, electromagnetic field. Uh, so dealing with electromagnetic science, I believe our ancestors was doing this thousands of years ago. We was even doing it with our weapons and with our tools. It's called electroplating. Uh, yeah, I believe our ancestors definitely did that. Sundial came later. That's like a clock. Like we had clocks forever, but then people created these what they call pocket watch clocks, and then they came out with these big old grandfather clocks. So the sundial will be later on version of what we call a compass or a sense of direction mechanism. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, a sundial will be just like a grandfather clock. You know what I'm saying? That you would see generalized, put out, used by everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Yeah, they hiding a lot of shit, dude. They hiding so much shit. They hiding so much science right now. When have you ever been taught that Russians came over here and made treaties with Indians in the 1800s? 2 times, 2 different times, several different states. When have y'all ever taught that? They tell you Olmec culture died in the early AD, but its histories of Olmecs coming to Tennessee. Like, why they don't teach you this documented history to the point where they can tell you that the Olmec is pretty much the Yamasee today. I got literature that says that the Olmec is pretty much the Yamasee today. You see what I'm saying? So, Beast Mode, you got another question, G? Now remember the first clock, the cuckoo clock with the bird. Nah, nigga, that wasn't the first clock. Nigga, that wasn't the first clock. You shout out for that. You shout out for that. Ryan March calling me. I'm gonna have to call him back as soon as I get done with this live. So we gonna
Hey
don't
y'all,
forget.
I'm gonna jump
Don't
off of
forget.
here. I'm gonna jump
Okay.
off of here, bro. I just wanted to say I just wanted to add some stuff to the bill. Hey man, I appreciate it and I love you. And also big ups on the rap battles. I
Yeah,
love that.
man.
I love that. And when you wanted to mention what's dude name that with the suit on, y'all was mentioning him with the black suit on that killed dude with the 1 round.
Loaded Lux.
Yeah, Loaded Lux, man. Hey, he killed dude with 1 round because if we know he couldn't even he couldn't
choked the
even
first
finish his
round.
round
Yeah,
previous to that.
Yeah, he choked.
Yeah, he couldn't even finish it. So he automatically lost at that point. His round was so fire that he won with 1 round. That was a big old thing to me. Like when I looked at the whole
That's
big
crazy.
old picture.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like it was a gimmick. I feel like he choked so bad the first round that he's a veteran. He did a veteran move by saying, "Listen, I choked so bad. Listen, whatever. I'm gonna just kill you with all first verse. This is all first verse. You see what I'm saying? So that was the scheme. You know, he came with the suit, the casket, the dude name on the obituary. He had the whole thing lined up, man. So he definitely laid the bullet on the crowd. Shout out to Loaded Lux, man, for that. But yeah, man. Shout out to Loaded Lux, man. So yeah, man, y'all go subscribe to the Battle Rap Wizards right now. Go take your phone out, go to your YouTube, type in the Battle Rap Wizards, and go subscribe. The
Hey, I'll
Battle.
see y'all over there, man. I love the family. Peace to everybody, and y'all be safe.
Peace and blessings, brother.
Peace and blessings to the chat. I just want to jump here with a couple questions because I've been, just on the last couple of days of bills and with all these different perspectives of the different, people that we done heard give these facts, in their own way, So I'm just in the energy of cross referencing all of their facts if all of them are true. You see what I'm saying? And if
Let's
all
go.
of them are true, there's still, even if we put all of them together and everything is true, it's still some missing, some real pertinent ass points that need to be made in everybody's story. Is kind of what I'm saying, because the dude talk about, he wrote out the map, with the snake and everything, but then the guy yesterday, then the bishop talk about how the Gregories, which he says, these are facts. The Gregories came down. So where I want to look at that map that they got drawn out and then probably cross-reference that, where is Mount Hermon in reference to that specific map? You see what I'm saying? Because that time frame, they really didn't say nothing to me. This last one, they didn't say nothing about no nigga people. You see what I'm saying? They threw out some
Listen, when they say Gregories came down, what do you think? They came from outer space, or do you think they came down from out of the hills, or the highlands, or the mountains? Where most monks and cave people be.
In mountains. And the shit that can't nobody get to, or don't want to dare try to make the, trek to get there. But I'm saying just the information, you know what I'm saying, on the just like on the time frame when they try to throw out it was just in the 1800s. I mean, it's got to be a little bit, you know what I'm saying, that they time is, I think they crunching it down like two. This shit, they talking about this shit happened, nigga, when some of our great grandparents was around and shit. Like, so I mean,
Right.
like,
That's what I'm
if it was
saying
some
though.
kind of, if that's the case, and these motherfuckers done pulled a motherfucking real life men in black on niggas around this motherfucker, then it's some real motherfucking shit than some motherfuckers that need sugar water around this bitch. And maybe that's what these motherfuckers need, that they ain't getting that certain kind of little serum. Shit, they need these motherfuckers need sugar water. Like, nigga, more. Like that nigga,
Listen
I
though,
mean,
this
like,
we all anything that your peoples was doing on a daily, your 4 time granddaddy's nails was doing in 1812. Your family, what was they doing? What was their daily routine? What was their normal shit? You catch my drift?
yep. But I'm saying none of them really want to they can't come to it. It's that's the one thing that they leave out. There's nothing that they're not gonna say. Is that's like the one forbidden thing to say, that it's niggas, you know what I'm saying, that was in all these situations, even how ancient it is. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna that's one thing that everybody, no matter how they try to skew or break down their story, that's one thing that I'm catching. You know what I'm saying? In this time, energy of facts and awakening, it's like that's one thing that I've yet to see, you know what I'm saying, somebody like, you know what I'm saying, strongly allude to without saying the people, a person, a woman of color. You see what I'm saying? Okay, but this at that ancient, it's only one motherfucking particular woman of color on the planet, motherfucker. So I mean, but I understand he's on, you know what I'm saying, that particular little platform. So I read through that, you know what I'm saying. But that's the shit that really is the facts. You see what I'm saying? So let's go on and keep this shit 1,000. So where was these
Got
people of
all the
color at? They
information.
talking about all these ancient, you know what I'm saying, which where they was buried. That's what I'm trying. I'm placing our people back in whatever
That
this
nigga,
ancient, you know what I'm saying. Go ahead.
that nigga didn't want to mention the oh your mic breaking up. Uh, want to mention Omex. That would just had to talk about niggas. He start asking about Aztec and Mayans. That would have
But
talked about niggas. He
but
avoided
where he
all
fucked
that.
himself up, he talked about, oh, the Mormons, and the Mormons know, and where'd the Mormons go? And then he brought up that later on at the end of the bill. Oh, and Ptah was a great little civilization back there. Okay, well, or Utah was. I said Ptah because that's what the real name was. But yeah, and Utah was a big city, and such and such. Yeah, motherfucker, it was called Ptah back then before y'all changed that shit. So let's go on and connect all the dots, and let's deal with the real terms and the real, you know what I'm saying, translation of who those people correlated to. Cause then that's when the shit gonna hit the fan for real. Cause we already really know the truth, but it needs to be exposed.
Bro, your mic is fucking up, G.
I'll go out and come again.
Only got to hold it down. Hard line, hold it down for me.
It's all good.
It's all good. He hung up. I'm gonna get with him. I'm gonna get
I,
with him in a minute.
I was gonna say I never heard Utah was called Ptah. I'll look into that though.
Yeah,
But
me
I
neither though. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
but what I will say is this though, because I used to stay out there for a little bit. I got some fam that was stationed in the military and moved out there and shit like that. And we all went out there for a little bit. So like out there, they'll tell you the Mormons killed all the Indians that was there because they had a they'll tell you they had a whole empire inside of all of Utah and all this shit like that. And out there, they be finding fucking bones of giants, fucking Egyptian hieroglyph, pyramids, all types of shit. And then, oddly, all of Utah all got like biblical or some type of like ancient historical names of the cities. All of them, all the mountains, the locations, everything. So like they have Mount Pisgah out there and Mount Nebo. Um, they have the Great Salt Lake, the city of Moab, the city of Levi, Nephi. Uh, shit, it can go on. But they got all that shit out there that they talk about in the Bible and shit. That's why people be always correlating that area with those places in the Bible and shit. Because it's the only place where you could actually find all those locations in it. You feel me? But on the other side of the world, they'll tell you some other shit like, well, we think it was here, but maybe this was destroyed, and maybe they deciphered this wrong, and we can't find this. You feel me? But it's hella little stuff out there in Utah.
Nah, Utah definitely got a lot of rich ass history out there. You feel what I'm saying? Just dealing with archaeology alone, it got a history. You feel me? So I like to really get into some of these that we got. It's because sophisticated buildings that would have been shining, look like gold, that would have had copper on, that looked in Moscow, Russia, that was here in the 1700s. And we know Europeans. You gotta ask yourself, if your great granddaddy was here in America, he is one of your grand.
You breaking up. Hey, I can't hear you. I ain't going front unless it's my phone. Yeah, that boy on mute. Oh, so y'all can hear me? Okay, because I'm looking into the chat now, so y'all can hear me. Because I thought it was my phone or something. I'm like, I'm tweaking right now. So yeah, if y'all ever go out there to Utah, man, it's beautiful out there. It don't cost that much to stay out there. It's like other places in the West Coast or whatnot. But if you're not used to being around like white people, Caucasians, and stuff like that, then that might not be the area for you because that's like a major stronghold for them. Like you'll go out there and be like, "Whoa, I ain't never seen this amount of white people ever, just ever." But
Shit, go to Tennessee.
my brother be out there. He told me. He told me it's a lot of
Boy,
white people out
it's goddamn places in Tennessee you won't even find a nigga at. I ain't bullshit. I don't know how that happened. No bullshit.
there. Yeah, they got spots out there. They got spots in Cali like that too, though. Deep north. You don't go there.
Yeah, you don't go there after sun.
Hell no. You don't go there after sun or during the day, because like, let's say you go there during the day, you stop to get some gas, they'll create a reason why you can't get some or whatever the case may be, and you go to another spot, then they might be like you out here loitering. Like what? Let's say you say something to the people, you pulling out, going to the light, here come the police pulling you over. Oh
That's
yeah, you're
crazy.
going here on a disturbance, yada yada yada, all this extra stuff, Ooh, they'll tell you shake like that. There's certain places you don't want to be in after night because they hella racist, like in deep Northern Cali. Like there's certain places that is hella racist. It was this one place called I want to say it's called Cameron Park, but Cameron Park they used to call that shit like Hangtown or something like that. So like you'll go there, they
Hey,
have like a rope.
can you hear me, Hardline? Is my shit still fucked up, G?
No, I can hear you. I can hear you clear. I can hear you clear.
I'm in the chat still saying my shit fucked up. I don't know what's going on. YouTube be on that bullshit. Lynchburg, Tennessee on accident. When you end up in Lynchburg, Tennessee on accident. Damn. Lynchburg ain't even that. Your ass go to 6 Mile, Greenback, Motherfucking what's another motherfucking little county out there? Platinum, Tennessee. Motherfucking Whiskey, Tennessee. Rock, Tennessee. Yeah, these motherfuckers racist as hell.
Ooh.
Yeah, hanging rock. Yeah, that don't even sound right. Anything that got hanging in that motherfucker, I'm cool.
It's time to shake. Time to shake.
Yeah, I passed through one town. Me and Rocky was going through Virginia one time. And it was one of them little towns. I'm talking about that motherfucker country. It was like hanging something, like little hanging sand, or little hanging Sandra or something. So it was like a name though. It was like hanging something. I was like, oh hell no. Hell no.
Like
Hell
nobody
no.
would stop
I
up
didn't
for
even get no
that.
gas. I said, fuck, I go to the next one. I
Yep.
pulled out, ain't no street lights. I was like, look, let me show you how dark it is around here. I turned the headlights off, bro. You couldn't even see in front of your motherfucking face, G. I'm talking about crazy. I was like, God damn. Yeah, but I be all in these little sundown towns though. I don't really give a fuck. I be noise sometimes at nighttime going through these motherfuckers. You know the police be the ones that'll get you. There they go, boy. They just rolled by. Get him. They be on
That's
their
how they get
phones. Now they got phones, so they ain't just gotta chase you. They got phones. They call their nephew. Hey, block the road. Yeah, you have to get down on some honkies out there. Yeah, but
been out there to the
I know
backwoods.
Oregon got a lot of history of being racist. Oregon racist than a motherfucker.
Shit, I watched that little documentary on old boy who came out there from India, who started that little civilization in Oregon and shit. The Gray Bagwan, whatever they was calling him. Locals rushed him. Oh boy, the Bagwan, he was so salty. It was I mean, it was a Indian man. I want to say they called him the Bagwan or something like that.
What?
The whole cult out there where he was from. Some type of way, the man and his followers came out to Oregon, purchased hella land, started their own like little nation and all types of little shit out there. The locals got hot because they was riding hella Rolls Royces and stuff. Started getting at him. He was an Indian man that had, I'm talking about, you see just hella white people just falling down on their knees, worshiping him and stuff. White bras got the head by his lap. He pet them like puppies. Y'all gotta see this, man.
Oh, that nigga was turned up, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was all the way turned up to the max. He had he had a whole cult like following and had these people basically like donating to his whole situation.
Man, somebody should have off that nigga, man. Fuck them Indians coming to our country trying to get somebody to follow.
You know what he did? He had like 100 Rolls Royces when it was all said and done. They had so many damn acres out there in Oregon. When the feds finally got him, they just took his Rolls Royces and told him to go home. And just took his little land from him out there in Oregon. That's it.
That's crazy.
That's it, because he ain't
Gave
from here,
their
so
ass
they couldn't
life.
put him in jail. Yeah, and for where he from, shit, they felt like he didn't do nothing illegal.
Hell yeah, where he from? Shit, India shit. Yeah. Them motherfuckers in India are the dirtiest, filthiest people on the planet. No disrespect, G. They be out there swimming in the pee and dump their feces and the dead bodies at, man. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Fuck that. I ain't swimming in cemetery water.
See, what it was is he damn near was like the originator of like the orgy situation. he had superstars and all types of people from around the world in America flying out there to India to go stay at his civilization out there first, right?
That's crazy, G.
But the Indians didn't want them there because they like, you got these people practicing all these different religions and having sex orgies over there in y'all campus. We want y'all gone. So then he told one of his little followers, like, find a spot where we could go worship and be in peace with our place and in our religion. And the chick came back and told him only place we could do that in is America. And he was like, what? Told her go make it happen. And she came out here and got the land and all the shit. And flew him out because they was damn near gonna off him at home. The Indians told him, you get, if you're in this damn compound, you got all these white people coming out here just laying all around, doing all this wild stuff. They don't go for that. You feel me? All the stuff that they claim, not even claim, all the stuff we allow people to do out here, they will off you for that back out there where they from. You can't just be running around having sex everywhere and acting wild.
Hell no.
Hell yeah. So they came out here to Oregon to do it.
To get loose, like little preacher kids. You know what I'm saying? How that shit is. They came out there, they was doing everything, man. Like, that's why I be keeping it real. Like, niggas be like, oh, these are legends. These are greats. Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye. Got out all these niggas. Man, half of them niggas suck dick and smoke crack. Man, these niggas ain't the greatest.
Crack. I swear he burned himself on fire smoking crack.
Yeah, Richard Pryor, he sucked with pecker. And he smoked crack, G. Like, yeah, I ain't calling no nigga like that the great. Got me fucked up.
Oh, man.
I can't go like that.
I didn't know he was a
Quincy
pilot.
Jones, the great Motown. That nigga sucked dick too.
He tried to rape Pac. Pac was like, hold on, player.
All the greats are all the greats are pecker suckers. Yeah, all the greats are pecker suckers, man. Get them niggas the fuck out of here. False about what? Richard Pryor? Who said it's false? Oh shit, better say. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here, man. Peace and blessings to all the American Aborigines. Hopefully y'all have a beautiful day, man. I'm sitting out here letting the sun hit me. Goddamn, these old hooves. Got these hooves out on the ground. Feeling great. Whew. Ain't nothing like it. Enjoying life, man. Living your best life. Make sure y'all stay aware, stay vigilant, stay dangerous. It's your brother, Aboriginal Power.